LEGO has released hundreds of Star Wars sets, and some of these beloved ships and vehicles aren't likely to ever see a remake in modern years. I compiled a list of 10 LEGO Star Wars sets that aren't likely to ever get a remake somewhere in the future. Some of these are much older and outdated sets, and some are more modern sets that won't make sense to ever remake. Of course, LEGO can do whatever they want and make any set whenever they want, but comment down below what sets you think won't ever be remade. The first set I want to talk about is the TIE Crawler released in 2007. This was the only set depicting this vehicle, and it was a really interesting set from a part of Star Wars we don't usually see sets from. This build, however, was really cool, and while some really dislike this set, several parts of the community really love it as one of their favorite classic LEGO Star Wars sets. However, as this set is based on the Star Wars Legends timeline, it is incredibly unlikely that we'll see a modern version of it ever made, as LEGO tends to focus on more mainstream parts of Star Wars media for modern sets, which of course will sell the best with the widest majority of fans. The Eclipse Fighter released in 2016 is one of my personal favorite sets from original LEGO shows, this one from the Freemaker Adventures, and it is such a well designed and all around good LEGO Star Wars set. The black and red color scheme of this set looks perfect for any Sith-like vehicle and looks so cool displayed among other LEGO Star Wars sets at a similar scale. Once again, it is very unlikely that we'll ever see remakes of sets from the original shows, such as the Freemaker Adventures or the Yoda Chronicles, and I decided to include this set on this list above the others because, well, it's my favorite. In 2008, LEGO released the Rogue Shadow, which is the only set based on the Force Unleashed video game, and a beloved set in the community. The Force Unleashed was a very popular video game back in the day, and to this day people are hoping to see Starkiller return in some way, both in LEGO and in Star Wars, and I think he will definitely return someday, perhaps as something like a 30th anniversary minifigure. The Rogue Shadow, however, isn't likely to ever be portrayed in Star Wars media again, and thus unlikely to be remade in a modern set, despite the audience of older fans willing to pay good amounts for a new version of this set. Once again, in 2008, LEGO released the Twilight, which was the main ship during the first parts of the Clone Wars, specifically the Clone Wars movie. This ship was also seen several times throughout Season 1 and 2, and then disappeared until Season 5. The ship wasn't super fascinating, but it was like the Millennium Falcon equivalent for the main crew of Clone Wars characters, and served that purpose quite well. Today, however, it is very unlikely that we'll see this ship return to LEGO, as it is completely irrelevant today and won't likely be reused in any modern Star Wars material, so it wouldn't have that wide audience LEGO tends to serve these days. Jumping back several years, we have Watto's Junkyard that released in 2001. This was an interesting set depicting lesser known pod racers and two minifigures, notably Watto and a molded version of older Beedo. This set is very unique compared to modern sets, and quite honestly there's no chance that LEGO would remake pod racers other than Anakin's pod racer and Sebulba's pod racer, although Sebulba's pod racer is starting to become just as unlikely. There's also the question whether we'll ever see a new version of Watto, as LEGO is evidently moving away with things with slave association. The Sandspeeder is a very interesting set once again, based on Star Wars Legends, and was always a really weird set, as it is based on such a minor appearance in Star Wars, if I am not mistaken, from a tabletop RPG game. The set itself is quite decent though, a really nice build of the Snowspeeder just in tan pieces, and it included two really cool minifigures, which is definitely the highlight of this set, as I am a very big fan of LEGO Star Wars Rebel Pilot minifigures. Overall though, this is a set that definitely won't be remade, and I'd be willing to bet on it. I don't think the original set did that well on its own, and I cannot see a new remade version be massively profitable at all. Back to Legends based sets, the Sith Fury class starfighter is a beloved set based on the Old Republic video game, and a part of a small sub-theme of sets around this era of Star Wars. This set is notably the set that Darth Malgus was released in, which is a highly sought after minifigure today, selling for close to $200 in new condition. Once again, LEGO isn't focusing on Legends content at all anymore, and the latest edition of Darth Malak in the 25th anniversary is a very lucky exception for older fans fans to enjoy. If LEGO ends up going back to the Old Republic for sets, I doubt they will remake old sets and rather focus on ships and scenes that were never depicted in LEGO before. So the Sith Fury class starfighter won't likely be seen again in LEGO Star Wars. Real quick, if you enjoy any of my videos, consider subscribing, as it helps this channel so much. The most recent set on this list is the Dark Falcon, which released in August of this year. This is the latest set depicting the Millennium Falcon, just in a very unique way from the several versions we have seen before. This set is completely blacked out with red markings to give it that dark, Sith-like aesthetic, and it does look quite cool, even though I think it is quite overrated. The minifigures, however, in this set is the biggest draw to me, with characters such as Darth Jar Jar and Jedi Vader. However, as a set based on a LEGO original show, I think it is unlikely that we will ever see a remake of this ship later in the future, as it wouldn't make sense to ever bring the set back long after its retirement. And soon after this one, we will be back to standard Millennium Falcon sets. The Malevolence is one of the coolest Clone Wars sets LEGO has ever released, and an iconic Separatist capital ship that appeared near the start of the show. We have only seen this ship once before in LEGO, all the way back in 2012, in what seems like the perfect way to make this set. Despite the demand for a remake of the set being high enough, LEGO doesn't release enough Clone Wars sets anymore, and the few Clone Wars sets that we do see are from later seasons or heavily Republic and clone based sets. Seeing a more modern set like this based on the Separatist faction is very unlikely, even though I agree that it would be really amazing to see. The final set I want to talk about is the Ultimate Collector Series General Grievous, a very unique and overlooked UCS set in today's time. The set is one of the coolest LEGO Star Wars sets ever releasing, with nothing like it ever made again, other than the new buildable characters of course. This General Grievous set released all the way back in 2008, but holds up today and is very good for its time. However, this is once again a set that isn't likely to ever be remade. LEGO wouldn't make a buildable character as a UCS set again necessarily, and the few UCS sets that end up being remade are popular ships from the original movies, so I doubt that we will see a new set like this appear anytime soon. Overall, those are the few sets that I think are very unlikely to ever appear in LEGO Star Wars again. Of course, this is a subjective list and LEGO can make whatever they want whenever they want. Comment your thoughts down below and what other sets you think are unlikely to return to the modern LEGO shelves. Other than that, God bless you and cheers.